Voices, a commentator with them, Joshua Shin. Thank you so much for joining us on 97.1 in St. Louis. Hello.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. Sorry about the miscommunication.
Oh, that's okay. I wonder, too, in relative speaking, what's considered a young Republican or a young Democrat in today's world?
I think, Young Voices is a program for center-right, right-leaning people under the age of 35, I believe. And then it helps promote them if they're interested in writing, publishing op-eds, or appearing on air. They help you get your foot in the door and see if you're cut for it. And
that's really
I've been
cool.
having a lot of fun. I've been with them about a year now, and I've done a lot with them. So people should definitely check it out.
So when into the name Young Voices, it's right there. Do people automatically ask, how old are you? And is that part of it, or is it just more or less an organization that enables someone that may not know this is an option to kind of give them a route into a new, I don't know, hobby, career path to commentate on the world?
Yeah, it's not, there is a hard limit, but it's more generally an organization that does kind of introduce you to the field of media and writing. So if you had an inkling for that or want to try it, but didn't, specialize in it during school, or thought that was just something that you heard it and thought, oh, I can do that. Or sometimes I can do that better, right? Like if you want to give it a shot, the applications are free and they don't charge you. So they're just looking for talent.
Neat. So that's the first question they ask you when you try to sign up for it. Do you have back pain? And if the answer is yes, sorry, you're too old. But if the answer is no, then hey, come on board. All right. So let's talk about, I guess, a younger perspective on when we're watching the House spend trillions of dollars. I'm guessing this bill is probably going to cost closer to above $2 trillion. The 1.7, I think, is low. When we watch this, we understand that in the United States, we're already in a tough spot financially speaking. This is money we don't have and can't afford to lose. What's your thought on this? Because being younger, they always say you're stealing from the next generation when you pass things like this. Do you look at it that way?
Definitely. And this has been the past 2-4 years have been had some of the highest spending from Congress and from the government, and this is only going to make it worse. To any young person watching, this is just an indication of a broken process. This omnibus bill is, I think, 1,500 pages more than the previous year's bill. And there are some things about defense spending in there, which I think with Donald Trump, I think that defense spending has become less of a priority for conservatives, especially the younger ones who were drawn to his promise of less intervention abroad. It's more, for me, it's the immigration problem that was not addressed in the spending bill, right? This is it neglects working class Americans and those trying to think of a future for themselves without a college degree. And for me personally, as someone who, the rare, conservative who majored in social science, who had a sociology major, right? It's this boost to Pell Grants that concerns me the most, right? We've had a lot of contentions with education, both at K-12 and higher education in the past couple of years due to these culture issues. And these aren't going to get any better by boosting subsidies for education. That's the main concern for me. And I don't know how that connects to, I guess, more mainstream or general concerns about the bill, but that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they didn't try to jam in student loan forgiveness as much as we've been talking about it, but that's going through the courts now, and I guess the Biden administration is going to try to force the hand, at least through that route first. But I can see sometime in the future, based on what we're seeing this year around and how they basically want to go home. I'm done debating this. I don't want to read it. Let me just put my name on the paper, and then we'll all be able to spend the holidays with their family. I think this kind of sets the game plan that you can pretty much get whatever you want as long as you jam it as close to the end of the year as possible. And I don't like that precedent being set from Congress, considering that that's how you get yourself in some major financial problems. Joshua Shin, Young Voices commentator, joining us here on 97.1 FM Talk. So let's look into next year. What do you think the biggest issues for young people will be? The stuff that really gets them motivated to pay closer attention to the world around them?
I think that, well, there are a lot of motions that the White House and the administration are making that they claim will help young people like me, especially like with the college education. But you mentioned the student loan forgiveness. There's a lot of uncertainty around that. I think a little more clarity would be, is I think something that they're looking for, right? There's a lot of skepticism amongst Republicans that this was a move by the Biden administration that was meant to fail, just used as a short-term boost for their midterm electoral prospects. Some sort of clarity on education and other, I guess, career-oriented moves that aren't tied to higher education would be great. I think another thing that young people are looking at, especially, is housing policy and housing supply, right? There are a lot of people that have been edged out of the housing market based on these, the Fed's rate hikes and on, very slow building that some cities are addressing, but not nearly as quickly. But this all depends on whether or not Kevin McCarthy does capture the speakership, right? Like, if we're still stuck on that issue in the first week or first month, who knows what will get done?
Right. I didn't ask how old you were. How old are you, Joshua?
I'm at I joined at Young Voices at 34, so right at the cutoff.
Tail end. Okay,
yeah.
I gotcha. So as soon as you hit 35, do they disable your email account and they stop answering questions?
Yeah, they locked me out, and they start. Yeah, they
kick you
they've
out.
already picked up on all the Gen Z lingo, so I'm already starting to lose touch. But I'm at the lower end of the millennials. I'll do what I can do while I'm here.
No, I get it. Well, I don't know if this question applies then. The reason I was asking, I heard a lot of people, particularly under 25, not fans of Joe Biden. Have you seen that trend? Even those that may necessarily vote Democrat, not fans of Joe Biden and the people around him.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think this is a consequence of the Trump era, right? A lot of young people, well, a lot of people in general that were not engaged with politics prior have become very studious and are coming to their own conclusions. And I think that there are a lot of people my age who do not like Joe Biden, who thinks that he's out of touch, right? And that's a fair criticism of both parties at this point. But they're looking for someone that speaks to their issues. At the same time, their percentage of the vote really hasn't increased, right? So it's still, you tend to show up to vote when you're older, and there aren't a lot of young people that show up to vote. So frankly, they're not really giving politicians a reason to cater to them. But at the same time, you're right. Like, this is partially on young people to start showing up and speaking about the issues that concern them, that are a concern to them, or, the boomers will continue to spend the money that was supposed to be theirs.
Yep. Is there a young Bernie Sanders out there that will get because that's the thing. One of the criticisms is you keep putting up these 80-year-old white guys, and those seem to be the most popular. And that's something that gets people upset when you're younger and you're looking at, the type of policies that excite you. I guess there's the fresh blood, the squad, things like that. But ultimately speaking, I don't know if people under the age of 25 or 20 even know a whole lot about it or would vote for them on a national scale. It just makes me wonder what gets people motivated under the age of 25 in politics anymore. And this is good that there's organizations like Young Voices out there that finds people that have a motivation and want to discuss these things. Joshua, by the way, if you had a website or something, social media, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, my Twitter is just at Joshua B. Shin, B as in boy, and that's my current social media right now for politics. I just want to make a quick comment on what appeals to younger voters.
Mm-hmm.
As a former social science major, I think that a lot of people, because they go to school and because they can make an impact by making a clever rhetorical argument, that's how the real world works, right? Where in reality, politics is slow and takes lots of compromise and coalition building. And I think because they are products of the current public education system, they don't understand that, there has to be some give and take. So they're looking for,
We're out of time, but I get your point. Joshua Shin, people can look you up online. Thank you so much for joining us on 97.1 FM Talk. We'll be right back.
Thanks,